Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. It's not really the after party. I guess it's kind of like an after party. I don't know. I just decided to stream tonight. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. So I was like, let's do something. I'm joined by Paigey, so it is sort of the after party, kind of, I guess. I don't know. What time is it over there for you, by the way?
1:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Hello, everyone. We got some Team Airrick members in the chat. Lively for like 11:30. So it's pretty lively.
You know why? We won't mention
it. Different night. No, we're not doing that. We have King of Lesbians in the house. Amethyst, McLeod, Gwendolyn's here. Who else do we have in the building? Defunct is here. Yeah, we got Maestro. Fetman's in the house. Good to see you. Staggervore is here. Jordan's here. Hero's Journey here. Yeah, everybody. JK's here. Good to see everybody. I wanted to talk a bit about the James Gunn news. We're going to watch the trailer for Batman Cape Crusader in case anybody hasn't seen it. What else do I have pulled up over here? Grace Randolph. The comments made by Jared Padalecki, which are really funny. Yeah, I don't know. What should we talk about first? Should we just get the Jared Padalecki stuff out of the way? I feel like that's probably the easiest thing to talk about first.
I don't know, man. It's your stream, man. You do what you don't want to do, man.
I'm undecided. Pretty much.
You said about the hot dog, dude?
What?
Joey Chestnut got like banned from the 4th of July.
The one that the hot dog eating champion or whatever?
Because he's sponsoring a vegan hot dog company or something.
I didn't know that.
I thought you would. I thought you love the hot dog.
That's funny to me. Like, yeah, that's pretty funny. So let's pull up this quote from Jared Padalecki. This is great. Let's see if I share a screen. So, first of all, Jared Padalecki has been on the CW in some way or another for like what, over 20 years now. I mean, he's been on there for a long time. Is
yeah, like when did Supernatural start? 2005, 2006? Supernatural started?
Somewhere around there. But we've had our complaints about the CW. Like I think the CW is a dumpster fire. I know a lot of people are like, oh, the fall lineup looks like it's going to be okay. I'm like, no, it doesn't look okay to me. Wrestling will keep them afloat for a while. Sports will keep them afloat for a while. But you have to have other programming because you're not going to get that year round. Yeah. So it's a little weird. But Jared Padalecki, this is the quote, and I thought this was hilarious. I feel like the CW that I was a part of last year is not the CW I was a part of under Mark Pedowitz for that entire almost 20-year stretch. I forgot how long Mark was there. He was there for a long time. They're just changing the network around where it's not really going to be a TV network as much as it's going to be. Here's something fun for an hour that you'll never watch again, but hopefully you watch it and it's cheap. Shots fired for that quote. Like, I've been saying this for a while. Like, the stuff that they've got coming out literally is background noise. And if you don't know what that is, for me, background noise is like when you're playing a video game or you're reading a book or you're doing something else entirely and you just need something in the background, like a fan running or whatever, and you put on something. It's kind of what everything is, other than maybe the sports stuff. Any thoughts on this at all?
I mean, obviously you can do it because the show just like it aired its finale yesterday, I think it was. So like, I guess like now he's like, you know, shackles are free, and I mean, it wouldn't surprise me too much of when Superman Lois ends that you get something from maybe Bitsy or something, because she's also like voiced frustration even before, like still working for them and stuff, and probably still interacting with some of the people. So it'd be interesting to see what she would say once it's all said and done. Because obviously Superman and Lois isn't getting an organic ending. Like they would probably been hoping to go on for another couple of seasons after this one.
Right. So they're having to like push to some sort of finale that makes sense for the show. Because like they were expecting to get a couple more seasons. So,
but I mean, like, all these actors could get the last. Like, it's obviously like Jared Padalecki's going to get work, and everything. Like everyone that's on these, like, especially like, you know, Tyler Heckman's going to get work. Bitsy Tyler, they'll all get work and stuff afterwards. But he would be more annoyed by this because he's like an executive. Is he like a producer? He's like a one of the people behind Walker, isn't he? Didn't he like sort of push for it to get made and stuff? Jared
Well,
Padalecki and
yeah, but not only that, but like he was one of the big draws to the channel, to the network, like to the CW.
Yeah.
He was one of the people that like you have a locked in fan base. He's got an established. I feel like Jared Padalecki, anything on the CW that included him was going to come with X amount of viewership. Like you're always going to get like a percentage of people that are going to tune in for his content. That's something you can't replicate with other shows. And so he probably felt a little bit bulletproof on the CW because it just made sense. And as far as I know, people like the show. I didn't watch it, but a lot of people said it was good.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either, but the same thing. Well, obviously, it wouldn't have probably kept going if it wasn't entertaining to the people that watched it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big like Western guy.
Naomi.
It was kind of like a Western thing. But anyway, guys, and I hate to say that, but I'm just being honest. I mean, fuck it, they can't fire me again. I'm just being brutally honest. I think it felt to me like they were looking for really easy, cheap content they could fill up time with, and we all knew this. He's not saying anything that's not true. This is pretty much
it's either the cheap content that they make themselves, I guess, like the Trivial Pursuit and is it Scrabble? Is it Scrabble, whatever it is?
Yeah.
Or it's the stuff where it's a co-production where I highly doubt they're putting in 50-50. Look, they're probably putting in the minority of the money behind the production.
There was a time on the CW where I think they had content for pretty much everybody. Like during the week, you'd have a show that
they had like rom-com style. They had just standard comedy. They had teen stuff and your genre stuff, whether it was horror with supernatural or the comic book stuff, or even like mysteries and like it was pretty much they covered all of it, like sci-fi. They had all of that covered essentially. Like they even had like an army show for like a season or two or whatever it was. But yeah, I mean, like it's not just the CW as well. It's like obviously the CW is like going like full on balls to the wall with it, but a lot of network TV is doing the same. Like there's not much genre left on network TV. It's all hospital and police shows and stuff, like the procedurals, or they're doing spins on that where it's in like firefighters or some shit. It's all the same stuff essentially. It's nothing like it's genre based, but that's because genre based stuff just ends up being more expensive to do.
Yeah, I want to pull up. We're gonna take this down. I want to pull up the fall schedule. Just take a look at it again, like the actual lineup. Here we go. And accept cookies. I don't care. So this is the schedule. So the renewed CW TV shows returning in the fall are Sullivan's Crossing and Superman and Lois. What is Sullivan's Crossing?
No, I've seen a trailer for it on Twitter. All I know is it's got like that Chad Michael Murray. Is that his name?
Let's see.
He's in it. I don't even think he's the main character either. He's just in it.
Sullivan's Crossing. It doesn't even have a wiki. Oh yeah, it does. Never mind. I lied. It says it's romantic drama.
Yeah.
And it's a Canadian TV series, came out last year, based on the novel by Robin Carr. It's about a neurosurgeon who finds herself in legal trouble and returns to her hometown in rural Nova Scotia to reconnect with her estranged father. So it's really not. It is literally a drama. So, 10 episodes in season 1, and wait a minute, season 2 came out. It just ended.
It airs on Canadian TV first, and the CW gets it.
Oh, there's a thing called a VPN. You can use a VPN, and you can go and watch things around the world.
Yeah, but they do it with that Wild Card show as well. I think that airs the week before on Canadian TV, and then a week later it airs on the CW.
Yeah. So Chad Michael Murray is just an assistant to like one of the other characters. He's not even a main character. He's not even like they list the people in it, and he's not even in the list of like main actors for the series. So
yeah, the CW, thou art cooked.
Yeah. Then we have Children Ruin Everything. I don't know what that is either.
No idea.
The Whose Line Is It Anyway came back after getting canceled.
After
So-
like the 7th cancellation, it's
That
still
was one of
running.
the most baffling ones where I like was scratching my head, like, why are we canceling a show that takes place in one room and everybody just improv?
It's the same
Why is that
thing.
getting canceled? Yeah.
Yeah.
Penn and Teller Fool Us. I'm not a fan of that, but that's another one that seems pretty much.
And those are two shows we can just do reruns constantly. Like you put
Yeah.
reruns on, and people will probably forget that I even watched
You
it.
can run it all year round, every
Yeah.
season. Keep running it. Inside the NFL, which is a after show for football. Renewed CW TV shows returning in 2025. So All American, we know that Homecoming is not coming back. So All American's coming back next year, and like you said, Wild Cards, which is the Canadian show. And then the new stuff that's premiering in fall 2020. This is the part that kind of baffled me. So the two dramas, Joan and The Librarians in the next chapter, feel like stuff that would have just been on the old CW. Like they don't feel outside of the CW's normal like type of TV shows. But why would you pick those up and get rid of the ones that people already like?
Because I
Like-
don't think they made them. I think they're already made and they acquire them.
So is The Librarians the next chapter an actual new series, or is it somewhere else?
I don't know. I think The Librarians might be at least a co-production, but Joan, I'm pretty sure, is just a British show.
Screen Rant over here says. So the original series was canceled 5 years ago. It doesn't say. So they canceled. They're bringing it back. What? It was on TNT until 2018.
No, I think that's a different. So this is a ITV show in the UK, and the CW is just broadcasting it in the United States.
No, I know, but I'm reading. This is updated just 5 days ago. It says more than 5 years after the original series was canceled, the one that this is a spinoff of, I guess. The Librarians, the next chapter, will continue the story on the CW.
Oh, you're talking about The Librarians. I was talking about Joan.
Oh, no, I'm talking about Librarians. So,
Yeah, sorry,
Librarians is the continuation of the story of the other series.
But is
Joan,
The
I don't-
Librarian so Joan's just a show that's made by ITV in America. In the UK, sorry.
Wait, so it's not even an exclusive to the CW?
No, it's
Just like Wild Cards, just like, what is it? Sullivan's Crossing.
here we go. The series will be broadcast in the UK on ITV, the streaming platform of ITV, in September of this year, and then will air on the CW starting October 2nd.
Mhm.
So it's very similar to the Canadian shows where they get them either a week later, like with Wild Cards, or I guess fucking a season later, like with Sullivan's Crossings or whatever it is.
And then we have the unscripted stuff, which is Trivial Pursuit and Scrabble. So you're going to watch people play game shows on TV.
What's
which
like?
is-
I need to see the content. Like Trivial Pursuit, I can understand because I'd assume it's just you fill up the little thing with the pie pieces. But Scrabble, like, what? Are they just playing a big game of Scrabble or something?
I don't know. WWE wrestling, that'll definitely pull in viewers.
But even then, that's
one of those,
NXT, which I didn't know what it was before, and I looked into it, and it's like
the low
rookies.
level ones, like the
It's like
rookie ones,
rookie, like people just coming in. So you're not
the
even watching,
jobbers, the
yeah, like you're not even watching like John Cena and stuff.
I still think it'll be good for the CW. I believe
I
it'll
will,
bring it.
especially if people are committed to WWE. They'll go it. They'll go, especially if they don't have to pay it or pay for it or anything like that.
Let's see
They'll watch it.
what is good cop, bad cop? Because that's premiering mid-season.
Once again, it's probably like a Canadian show or a British show or something like that.
It's on Stan. I don't know. What
Oh, that's an Australian show. So it must be an Australian show.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that. So that one, 2023. So they're pulling it over a year after it aired on Stan. Let's see, Sherlock and Daughter. Let's see. That is a CW show. That has not been anywhere else before.
Oh no, Good Cop, Bad Cop. Yeah, okay, that's the one that I saw promotion for it. It's gonna have Clancy Brown and shit in it.
So jobbers is a term for like brand new wrestlers. It's from the 90s. I don't really know if anybody uses it anymore. Cancel CW TV shows that won't be back. This is the crazy one. Homecoming, an extremely popular show, not coming back. Walker, an extremely popular show, not coming back. Now the Spencer Sisters, I don't know what that is, so not totally sure. Run the Burbs and Everybody Burns, not totally sure what that is. I think those were ones that got acquired after Nexstar got the CW and then didn't keep, because you remember there was a chunk of like 6 months where they acquired a bunch of things. They ran the seasons and then they just canceled them. They were like, we don't want them again. I don't know. Jared Padalecki's right. It's just not the same as it was before. Clearly there's an issue with the network. I know Canada Graphs will disagree with me and he's in the chat. I don't see how they can survive long-term doing this. I feel like this is a biding their time type situation for the network. It seems like they're making a lot of decisions that feel like desperation. I could be wrong.
Or they're basing off the ad revenue they got with the other shows.
So will they be able to put these shows on their streaming service after they air? Is that the deal, or is this going to go back to whatever country it was?
Yeah, I think all the ones there they could, except for Superman and Lois.
Okay.
Even though I think they made a deal with Superman and Lois for like the previous seasons, but I don't know if season 4 they'd be able to. Like they can't do it weekly like they used to with Flash and Arrow and Legends before and stuff like that. I think that'll obviously just go to HBO Max whenever it goes there, probably the end of the season.
So they've upgraded the term. It's hometown talent. They're there to lose. NXT is up and coming rookie. So it is so it is like they kind of created. Am I wrong here? Did they create this specifically to make additional content for wrestling? I feel like that's what it was. Like, I'm not saying that it isn't good or it doesn't make sense. It feels to me like this is a really easy way for them to just make additional wrestling content. Because to be honest, wrestling is a money-making machine. It just turns over money with merch and stuff like that. So doesn't totally surprise me. Candagraph says they'll survive because their expenses are low. Yeah, but I think Jared Padalecki has a good point. Like, will we still be talking about the CW 2 years from now? Like, will it even be something?
It'll get to the point where like you don't see any deadline articles about anything on the CW.
Yeah,
like the media won't even coverage it.
Yeah. So Ghost has all the tea right here. NXT has been a brand since 2015 on the WWE.
Yeah, I knew it was already things I'd seen in like ads. And
so it was created in 2015. I guess the CW is acquiring it. I'm assuming.
So, yeah, it was on what was it, US TV or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they made it so they could train wrestlers and get them used to the crowds. Also, it helps the crowds get used to them in the terms of like creating a character they can bring over to the. Because I'm going to assume, and I could be wrong, but I'm going to assume that they like to take people from that once they get big enough and move them over to like the main matches, the pay-per-view stuff. So, all right, let's watch the trailer for the Batman Cape Crusader. Now, the last thing we reacted to trailer-wise was that Suicide Squad anime series, and it was up on the video for like 3 days, and then they made me remove it. So I don't know how long this was going to be here. If you get in and you watch this quick enough, it'll be available. If not, it'll probably be removed. But we'll talk about it afterwards, give our thoughts on it. So here we go. This is the Batman Cape Crusader official trailer. And I think it comes out August. I want to say August 1st. They might say here. It's the beginning of August. Here we go.
Asking the question on everyone's mind these days, what do you think about the Batman?
I'm frightened. This whole city's gone to hell in a handbasket.
Well, he's breaking the law, ain't he? So they ought to catch that freak and lock him up.
I want to say right away, the artwork reminds me of the 90s and early 2000s animated, the Bruce Timm stuff.
Well, it's made by the same people, isn't it?
It is? Okay. I wasn't sure. Like immediately I'm like, this takes me back to all of the cartoons I loved from DC. So I'm already in on that. So
Up.
I won't say it's gonna be easy, but catching criminals is what we do. So this one dresses up like Dracula, so what? We're gonna take him down. What do we know about this Batman?
He's been
what era does this take place in? Is this like the
It looks
20s,
like the-
30s?
I was gonna say it looks like the 40s because it's TV, so it'd have to be like the
Oh yeah, you're
50s?
right. You're right.
50s
Yeah.
if it's TV, black and white.
Yeah. This looks really good. Why did they unload this? Like offload it somewhere else? I don't
It
understand.
probably
why.
costs a bit. I think that's why because I think they cut it off before, like maybe only after an episode was made.
Mhm.
Because HBO Max, it's not making money.
We
And
need,
Prime,
we need to talk about. I didn't even put that in the title. But we need to talk about those changes to the shows because I
yeah,
think that we need to discuss
which
that.
screams something that they don't want to admit.
Yeah. My cat is stuck in the other room. They shut the door on themselves.
They're gonna say stuck in the door or something.
Yeah, they've cut the door off. I'll be right back.
Don't trip. Okay, Eric's gone. We can talk politics while he's not here. Wait, everyone just write in the chat who you think won in the debate. I'm not going to mention names because he's going to get annoyed. Quickly do it. Quickly.
My cat likes to close the door, and then wants to get out of the room that he shut the door in. All right, here we go. Let's finish the trailer.
Mischief afoot, sir?
3 explosions in 2 weeks. Peculiar. There's something more going on here.
There we go.
Yeah.
I want to point out that would be a huge marketing thing for this. Like, could you imagine? Do they not know what the fuck they're doing over there?
Well, even Alfred looks like the same one from the animated series, just younger.
But isn't it weird? Like, you would think they're looking for things that will bring people to the streaming service. I mean, yes, this isn't going to pull in like live action TV show numbers, you know what I mean? Or like movie numbers and whatnot. But there's a lot of people that would pay for HBO Max to see this.
Yeah, but I think that Warner Brothers probably makes more money offloading it to Amazon than keeping it on Max.
So it begs the question, why even have the streaming service anymore? You know what I mean?
So what was that dude's name? Jason Keeler? Maybe ask him. Where's he hanging nowadays?
That's a good point. All right, let's finish this. I'm already ready for this, and I think they're going to drop all the episodes at once, which sucks because I like looking at My Adventure with Superman week to week. But I think this is all going to be at one time. But we'll see. After seeing this, I kind of wish they had a upcoming more DC projects in the same animation style, because I feel like people like this. Don't you think?
I think it's just hard because, if they made a whatever, I think Batman is arguably the only one where I think you can convince people to pay to watch it, in regards to even just the general audience to watch it as well if it's animated. As I said, people don't have that allegiance to animation.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even. I don't know if I asked it before, but I don't know. Is it a sign that that Boys Diabolical didn't get a season 2?
That the anthology show that they did?
Yeah, where they just make up crap, but just that seems like the easiest show to just make some wacky shit up, put in animation form in that universe. But
I
there's never
think
a season 2.
I think that streaming services misunderstand animation. I think the Netflix understands how to make animation on a streaming service. Somehow they do it, and it's profitable for them. A lot of these other services don't know how to do it. It seems like they struggle with animation.
Well, because the hardest thing is that it's always going to be a niche, no matter what. But it's whether you can break that niche wall with specific things. But you're not going to be able to do it with everything. It's going to be one in every. Even with Netflix, it's not every project. With Netflix, they have a better success rate. But if if Amazon does it or HBO Max does it or something, might be lucky if it's every 10 or 15 shows. But what about those other 9 to 14 shows that aren't breaking through? Are they just bleeding money? In comparison to how much money is being brought in through the service.
Yeah, let's see. I don't know if it's going to be. Is this going to be a week-to-week show, you guys?
They might. Doesn't Amazon do the thing where it's they release a couple of episodes and that's week to week?
They usually do, but I don't know if they're doing that with this.
Well, if they're only 20-minute episodes, and it can be hard to convince people.
It's all on August 1st. If they drop
Yeah,
them all at
that
once.
doesn't
Yeah, it's
shock
not
me.
going to be week to week. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Okay, so let me ask you a question, and I want the chat to chime in too. Generally, when it comes to animated stuff, do you think it's smarter? And we'll talk about the X-Men 97 stuff here in a second in conjunction with that. But do you think it's smarter to release it all at once than it is to do like a week-to-week release when it comes to animation? What do you think?
I think it purely comes down to like the nature of the show. Like, has this show got an overarching story throughout the entire season, or is it almost like little episodes with like a minor thread going through all of them? I don't know. I think if you own it and like you have to make money out of it, like from airing it originally, then you like Disney Plus has to do and HBO Max would have to do or whatever.
Yeah.
Then yeah, but I think with Amazon, I mean, their whole thing is like just a thing that they've acquired. So maybe in their eyes, it's just better releasing it all at once. And I don't know, maybe there's a deal with Warner Brothers where they have to release it all at once or something. They can't drop it. Because then Warner Bros. Is like, well, we want to release it on DVD or Blu-ray at this time, or release it on iTunes for people to buy by this point. And we don't want it to be that extended. It grows by the distance that you air it from premiere to finale. But then again, because it's such short episodes, like you can risk your biscuit, if you want to put it, by making people just go, oh, well, I waited a whole week to watch 20 minutes and nothing happened.
Yeah.
And they just fall off. And then by the end of that, just wait until the show's done anyway and watch it then.
Yeah. The only thing I like is, I mean, and you know, my subscribers seem to really enjoy it, even when it does great or if it just kind of fizzles out or whatever. You know, My Adventure with Superman started out really strong. A couple weeks of reviews were low, and the last couple weeks have been really good. So I guess with animation, it's kind of a roll of the dice what the interest levels going to be week to week. Now, X-Men 97 was completely different. If I would have reviewed that week to week, I probably would have seen extremely high numbers on that. But I'm not sure if that was the expectation initially with everybody, like it was going to be that big, or if it's just one of those things where that was like an anomaly in the cartoon world. I mean, how would you look at that? Because it really did feel almost like people were treating it like a live action show each week in terms of
But I think that once again that comes down to just probably the design of the season, and that it had the cliffhangers or it had something that kept you going until next episode. But even then, like it's hard to tell like what the scope of that was like outside the bubble of like the internet and like the fandom and stuff like that. But once again, just depends how you design your season and stuff like that. We don't know if Batman's going to do that.
Yeah. A lot of people seem to like weekly, and then some people are saying no, they like it all.
For the general audience, for your standard, you know, Tom, Dick, and Harry, dropping it all at once is the easiest thing. And with Amazon, it's probably better. And then there's also the Batman thing that catches people. It's like, oh, Batman? Oh, look, it looks like the anime. And they're probably going to try and like tag with like, oh, animated series. It looks like the animated series, and some of the like stuff on the actual Prime service.
All right, let me. I don't know if I have this.
Well, I was going to say, if you're going to talk about the greatest Randolph, I'm going to go to the bathroom really quickly.
I wasn't going to, but you can go to the bathroom and then we'll talk about the next subject.
Okay.
I'll just do some Q&A stuff. All right, so let's look at the poll. See what you guys said here. Actually, we'll take a minute more on the poll. If you haven't voted, I want to know what you guys think for the Batman Cape Crusader series. Let me know what your thoughts are on that one. And I'm curious to kind of what everybody's feeling about this, because I think it looks really good. I'm definitely going to watch it. 100%. Let me see here. Here we go. Save that for when Paige gets back. All right, let's see what the poll says. We're going to end the poll. We'll all see the results here pop up. What did you think of the Batman Cape Crusader trailer? And the numbers are in. We had over half of the chat voting, it looks like, or around half the chat. Great, 68%. So 68% of you guys think it looks great. 28% thought it's okay. And only 3% thought not good. So it seems like it's more of a positive reaction. Is that what you guys expected? I am curious. I mean, did you think when you heard about the series and you found out what it was going to be, did you think that it was going to be as good as the trailer looks? Did you always feel that way, or did it surprise you? It didn't really surprise me. I kind of, based on what I heard, I thought it was going to be a very strong trailer, a very strong series. Hey, God. What are you doing? Huh? I thought it was going to be pretty strong, regardless. Quinlan's chiming in here, says, a show I felt worked best week to week was WandaVision. When you watch it back on a binge, it didn't feel the same as it did speculating what was going on. I'll agree with you on that one, because for me, I think that started that era of everything in Marvel was over scrutinized and over analyzed. And so it brought in a lot of disappointment for Marvel projects, because everyone thought there was some big M. Night Shyamalan twist coming on the show. And I kind of blame, I mean, I took part in it a little bit too, but I tried to make sure I was rational about it. I tried to at least inject some sort of my own theories into these crazy speculations. But I do feel like that was the beginning of that crazy ride that, you know, turned Marvel into what it is today. Abdi says, yeah, if Matt Reeves and Bruce Timm are behind it, I always had faith. Hero's Journey. I knew the series was going to be good, but knew that Batman 2004 was going to be far better. So, I'm not watching right now. I have too many things I'm balancing. I'm actually so overwhelmed by shows that I just have not had a chance to watch it. So, I'll get around to it soon. I know it's really good, but yeah, we'll get around to it soon. Let's see here. What do we got? What do we have? Is everybody enjoying House of the Dragon? I'm really curious what people think about it. It's not been my favorite so far. I'll be completely honest. It's not been my favorite. But I am curious if anybody else feels that way about it or not, because I was going to review it. I can't really fit it into my schedule. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense with my release schedule to do it. I'm probably missing out on views with it. But I'm very curious to what people think. Let's see here. King of Lesbia says, I haven't started it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Gwendolyn hasn't started yet. Jasmine said it's good, but not as good as season one. That's kind of how I felt about it. It's kind of how I felt about it, to be completely honest. Cameron says, I still need to catch up on House of the Dragon. Yeah. Not totally shocked. Let's see here. I guess while Pagey's away. Oh, you're back? Okay. I actually had one more thing I was going to pull up, but we'll save it for the end.
Oh. Love a surprise pull up.
Yeah, pull up. Let's see here. Now that you're back, we can watch Grace Randolph.
Oh God.
We'll get that out of the way. Why not? So the one thing about Grace Randolph that's funny to me is I remember there was a time where if I said anything even slightly negative about her, people lost their minds. Now she's kind of become, I don't want to say a joke, but people kind of see through all of it. And she's made some dumb statements. This one's pretty funny to me. Only because I don't know a lot of people that still watch her like regularly. I know she's got a ton of subscribers. She has a lot of views. But I just don't hear her name dropped as much. Does that make any sense? Like I don't hear people talking about her like they used to. I mean, you hear people like My Time to Shine and Daniel RPK and those kinds of people. You don't hear Grace getting mentioned for scoops much anymore.
From what I heard, she stopped doing the scoops because I think she was scared of losing coverage or something. Like, I think she might have had a scare when someone knew it was her that leaked something, or like her source or something. So she stopped doing it. I don't know how long ago that was. I only found out about that like 2 weeks ago or something like that. She just sort of backs up something. Like if someone goes, like if My Time to Shine goes, oh, this happened, she might go, oh, I heard something like that as well, but she won't try and attach her name to it. I think I don't know the specific reason, but I'm assuming either her source or sources almost got found out, or she was getting pressure to stop doing it.
I actually, when I saw this clip initially, I thought it was funny because of what happens at the end of it. Let's watch it. It's only 38 seconds, but I just want to cover this, and then we'll talk about the James Gunn stuff. But this is just really funny. Let's talk here. It's about the Superman suit and the Mr. Terrific.
Aldous Hodge. That's right, CM. I was saying, why is Aldous Hodge Hawkman when he should be clearly Mr. Terrific? I feel if they had cast Mr. Terrific with a little more sex appeal, that's basically my thesis statement for this movie is that it's not sexy enough. With all due respect.
I mean, what do you think about that? Just that first part of that. Like, it's not sexy enough. What do you think?
I mean, she's not wrong, but at the same time, like, it's also a movie that's meant to appeal to kids. Like, it's meant to appeal
that's
to
what I'm getting at. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do we want to see with this? You know what I'm saying? Like, not sexy enough. Are we talking about like full on, like cheeks out, ass out on screen? You know, like what do we mean by that? Are we trying to say that the people in the movie are unattractive, and that's her way of saying that? Because I don't necessarily agree with that either.
Yeah,
but I also think Aldous Hodge was great as Hawkman, and had the DCEU continued, he probably would have continued to be Hawkman. Yeah,
I mean, she's not wrong, but at the same time, it's also like,
what do you mean by that? I need you to explain that. When she's not wrong, explain what you mean by that.
Well, like she's saying, like there's no sex appeal. Where is it?
But what? How is that right?
But that's what I mean. That's what I mean. She's not wrong because it's not there. But at the same time, it's not like it has to be there because it's a movie that's made for kids.
No. I get that, but I actually think there is some sex appeal there. I think the actors are attractive. Like they're not.
Yeah, but I think there's a difference between. I think there's a difference between someone being attractive.
Quinn, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think that's the difference. It's the difference between someone being attractive and then there's sex appeal. It could be someone that's classically not attractive and still have the sex appeal.
Okay, but even by that standard, why is that a problem for the movie?
Exactly. But I said that's the thing. In her eyes, I guess that's what it is. But she's not wrong in saying that there's no sex appeal because there clearly isn't. At least based off what we've seen so far. Who knows? Maybe Lex Luthor. He's not just bald. He's walking around naked and we see cheeks.
I shouldn't be laughing at this right here, but this is funny. The irony of her talking about not being sexy enough. Look, I'm not going to run to her defense much, but I will say she's not going to get a role in a movie like this. So she doesn't have to worry about it. All she's going to do is like have really bad hair and sit in front of a window in her apartment. That's kind of what she does. Did she remind you of people who wanted the Marvels to be appearance related? No, I think that was different because they were talking about a really young character and that was just inappropriate. I don't think that her saying that it's not sexy enough, there's any inappropriate stuff there. But number one is I think all the actors are attractive and anything can be sexy. Like, let's be honest here. Anything can be sexy. Somebody can be like, ooh, that shoulder is so sexy. Like somebody could do that. It's quite
possible. In Shakespearean times.
It's quite possible.
Oh, an ankle.
That bare shoulder is so that knee. Oh, that knee got me. You know what I mean? I mean, people fetishize stuff all the time. Feet are fetishized. So, I mean, anything could be sexy. But I get what you're saying. You're saying that it's not an overt sexuality to the character. Like they're not going out and doing like cheeks out. You know,
it's not like with like I don't know. Well, you mentioned like Harley Quinn, but even if you think about like Aquaman with like Jason Momoa and stuff.
Could you imagine Superman in a thong, like flying around?
Or just the trunks.
Just the trunks, right? Yeah, like no boots, no, a cape around his neck, and just the trunks. That's Superman.
Yeah. Anything that's blue is bare skin.
Grace would be like, "Take my money, take my money." Like It's like Superman Magic Mike. Like that's literally the name of the movie, Superman Magic Mike, where they're pole dancing and doing shit like that. Like it's so fucking crazy. And then like the comments about Mr. Terrific, and we're gonna get into that in the second half of this clip here, but the comments about Mr. Terrific are funny to me because I don't think the actor is unattractive, but she's making it sound like they're not. And then she tries. Let's just watch the clip. It's rough. It's a rough ending to this little thing.
Respect to the cast. It's a Land's End catalog, and I don't think anybody wants comfortable Superman. I think that if they had cast a really sexy actor as Mr. Terrific, he could have gone to the level of Black Panther.
Pagey.
Yeah, yes, DJ Erickson the third.
There's no reality. There's no world ever in our lifetime where Mr. Terrific would have hit the level of Black Panther. It's just not possible. The character's not even designed to be that way.
But they talking about like thirsty people, like people that are thirsting over.
Is she?
Well, no, did that happen? You're gay.
Well, let's be clear here.
Where the women where people simping over Chadwick Boseman. I just
you mean like throwing panties on the stage or something? Is that what you're talking about? Like,
maybe not, but going like, ooh, tasty, like something like that. I don't know.
Maybe, but
I can't remember.
Wait a minute. But Black Panther wasn't supposed to be a sexy movie either. So I don't know what that.
Yeah, exactly. He was in a suit.
So I guess in order for Mr. Terrific to be taken seriously like Black Panther, they needed to have a sexy actor playing it.
Yeah, I wouldn't compare Black Panther to Mr. Terrific, in my opinion, at least because I don't know, unless we're going to get
what is that comparison? What is that? Like the characters, the only thing that makes them similar is they're both black people.
Yeah, I know.
There's nothing similar between Black Panther and Mr. Terrific other than them being black. What kind of comparison is that?
Well, in the context of the movies, unless there's like some weird I don't even know what the context would be if they did it, but some weird training scene where Mr. Terrific is shirtless and doing some training because obviously he's meant to be a former Olympian, but I don't know where the context for that would be. It's just like someone awkwardly walking into rooms like, oh, sorry, didn't know you were doing
Serenity, that's like 60% of comic book characters. I mean
that's like Lex Luthor.
Yeah, fundamentally, T'Challa, Black Panther, and his life and what he does, where he lives, the interactions he has, how he functions as a superhero, has nothing to do with Mr. Terrific and how he functions and exists as a superhero. The only reason Grace Randolph is comparing them is because they're both black men. She's not thinking about it. It's not that deep. It's really not. Trust me, she's not thinking about it. She just made an argument about sex appeal. Like the Superman should be sexier, I guess. So, I mean, I'm going to assume that it's all surface level stuff. I'm not giving her that much credit. Let's be fair. What do you say here at the end?
I think that would have been really fantastic.
There's another clip here. Let me see if I can find it, where she says something else really dumb, and I want to share it because I feel like this is a good segue into the pictures. Talk about the pictures. Let me see if this is the right clip here. I bookmarked it, but Twitter's going to be Twitter. Oh, hold on. All right, here we go. Let's hear her talk about. Get ready. This is actually really short. It's like half the time of the other one.
All right. So as for the hair, it's a little retro. I agree with CM. It's a little 70s, a little 60s. It's a little black power, a little political in my opinion.
You see why I'm not giving her any sort of like rope with this one? I'm not giving her any room to move. Like I'm not no credit, no benefit of the doubt. So his haircut is politically like black power.
It's just a little afro, isn't it? It's not even an afro, really, is it? It's just his hair. It's like a medium level hair. It's not even like, is it styled or is it just, that's just like.
Y'all see why I said this? You see why? That's why I didn't give her any credit on the other clip. That's why I didn't give her any credit. She also, in one of the clips.
Isn't it the actor's normal hair? I swear to God, isn't it just his hair?
Yeah.
It's not even a wig or anything style. That's just how he wears it.
Right. let's be clear here, without even looking at the full suit yet with Mr. Terrific. I love this suit. I think it's great. Like, I think it looks great. I think the whole suit from head to toe works for me. I have no notes for it at all. What do you think? Any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Mr. Terrific's suit. Like, there's not really.
But that's what I mean. Like, there's nothing. I don't think.
That's why I think it's just the suit's just whatever, because it's just the suit. Like, it's not like there's no creative liberties with it. It's the suit. It's like with on Arrow, it was just the suit. Like, you didn't really write anything home about it because it was just the suit from the comic.
But that's what I mean. Like, she's talking about it like there's some massive change to this look. Let's hear the end of this here.
I don't know if I would have injected that into the character. I think I would have just focused on making the character as sexy and cool as possible. And
what does that mean? What does that mean?
Your guess is as good as mine, DJ Erickson.
So somehow his haircut has made it political.
What if it was like, what's Arnold's friend from Hey Arnold? Gerald?
Oh, it's been forever since I've seen that. You might be right.
What if it was that hair? Like the really, like almost like Marge Simpson, like height.
Yeah.
Do you think she would complain then? That'd be interesting, Mr. Terrific. Or it was just like literally a T. Like his hair was literally a T.
Somebody posted this. So this is how
Gerald.
This is how Grace Randolph wants Mr. Terrific to look.
I mean, it'd be a decent undercover if that wasn't his normal hair that he wore in his day to day.
Oh my God, Grace Randolph, Tumblr picture confirmed. This is what she wants. Make him sexier so he looks like Ken. Barbie.
What if he had the actual Mr. T haircut, like the mohawk?
She would still probably say it's being too political.
Or it's trying to be too retro.
Too retro. Yeah, she did call it retro. That's true. There was another clip. I can't find it now. I'm not going to keep looking. But in the clip, she's like, what is it? She names. Wait, see, this is the right one here. Okay, let's look at this one here. I think this is the one where this is the last one, I promise. I know people can't stand her, so let's just.
I think that by far and away, the best looking one is Mr. Terrific. Hey, Jack Langboy.
So she, even though she just talked shit about him, she thinks he's the best looking one. So what does she think of David Cornsweet as Superman? I mean, says a lot.
So, some of you have been very defensive of Mr. Gathegi, which I think is very sweet. I still don't think that this character is what the character could be.
Based on what? Based on what? These are the first pictures we've seen of the character on set, and it's just the guy in the costume. So what is she basing her opinion on? The quality of the character when we haven't seen anything other than these photos.
I'm assuming it's just how she just, like, when she reads a comic book that has Mr. Terrific in it or whatever, and you translate it from that into this, she's just not seeing it, which I can understand. It doesn't necessarily scream straight up 100% Mr. Terrific, but then again, you don't know what his performance is like. I think Mr. Terrific comes down to how he speaks and how he really shows his intelligence through his
That's what I mean, though. Like, if you are a fan, you know
exactly. That. Yeah. Well, no, but that's what I mean. But maybe visually, that's what she's just caught up on the moment. She's like, I'm not 100% sold on it yet. But then that performance wins you over. It's like when you see someone.
I would say the only thing you should be criticizing on these set photos is what you think of the suits in these early pictures. That's really the only thing. Because otherwise, you don't know what any of the things are or anything like that.
I agree. So she's just, she's jumping to conclusions. But I think it's just based off what she wants, and she doesn't think, I guess, that conclusion is going to happen based off what she's seeing. But you should wait till the finished product until you overly criticize it.
Yeah, let's see what she says.
People don't love the casting, but I think that the character certainly looks interesting and looks the best of the group by far. I mean, I think that with the right casting, like Idris Elba,
too old.
Not only too old, but why is that always the person? Whenever there's a black character,
what's next? Wait, hold on. Is there next option? John Boyega, play it.
I'm gonna give you a second. But why is it that anytime there's a black character up for a role in a movie, that's the first name she says? Why is that that's the first and sometimes only person that she thinks can play a black character? Why is that? That's a little weird. But listen, let's watch and see what her next option is.
Or the actor from what was it? It's Snow. Like isn't it Damson Idris or something, right? I think if they cast someone like that, I think Mr. Terrific could have been or Aldous Hodge. That's right, CM. I was saying, why is Aldous Hodge Hawkman?
Okay, so we already saw that part. It's like one actor and then somebody she couldn't even remember who their name was. The fact that there's not like a massive amount of like black actors that she could name comes across very weird to me. It comes across really weird to me. I don't have much else to say about Grace, but that was rough. Let's see. I have some other pictures here. There's so many set photos now of the suits and stuff. I want to find the ones that I think show off the suit the best here. Let's do these ones. We'll look at these ones because I don't know what your thoughts are. Actually, we'll do that one first. So I did my video where I kind of looked through all the pictures, and I know you put a video out, but I want to know, what are your overall thoughts on the suit, the way it looks here in this shot?
I'm fine with like everything. Like, I think the suit's 100% fine. With the cape's awesome. Cape 10 out of 10. Love the cape. Perfect length. I like the symbol on the back.
So by the way, Chad, if you haven't seen it, the S is on the cape.
Yeah. I like the trunks. I like the belt, even though it looks like it came out of the 3D printer. I just hate the lines, man. I just don't like the lines. Are so unnecessary because I guess they're made to look like armor, but it's a cloth suit, and we know that the only thing that comes from Krypton, at least in the comics, is his cape.
Right.
So the suit wouldn't be made out of Kryptonian material. So
unless they're changing that.
Maybe they're changing. Maybe he was. I don't know. Maybe he had a stuffed doll that was made out of the suit or something like that. Yeah. I don't like the lines. I don't mind that the suit's baggy because I assume that might be taken out in post. Like, and this is just so he's not.
I said the same thing in my review, is that I'm assuming that's what they're going to do. They're going to try and like tighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, but the lines, like, I don't think you can defend the lines. I've seen people try to, and they really have there's no real good defense there. The lines are pretty arse, but I like that they changed the collar where it's like not a V, but it's cut a bit because it looks stupid going around his whole neck before. But it's like cut, and it almost looks like a proper collar. Like, it looks like an actual collar, not like a turtleneck.
I found a better one, I think, here of that same or a similar angle. Here we go. So you can see like the boots and everything. I love the boots, by the way. I think the boots are incredible.
Yeah, the boots are good.
The perfect height.
The cape's not dragging on the ground, which I like. I don't like when Superman's cape drags on the ground.
So this photo is better. The other one looked like a Canada Graphs photo. This one's better.
Shots fired.
Just kidding.
No, sorry. There would have been a fucking stupid watermark going diagonal.
Oh, yeah. I wish I had the font that Canada Graphs has. I'd put it right over the photo. That would be funny. So, okay. Love the change to the neckline. I think it's good. I wasn't lawsuit incoming. Yeah. Okay. So my thoughts on it, the more I've looked at it, I don't like the cut of the trunks.
Like their trunks, like their actual trunks.
I think they come down too far on the side.
Yeah, but they're trunks. Trunks go that's what trunks are.
They don't look right. I think so. Let me tell you why I think it looks weird. All of that extra lining in the pants that make them look like, how can I put this? The pants look like they shouldn't have trunks because of all of the extra design in them. And then you put the trunks over top of it. It's like wearing a pair of like designer jeans.
I know what you mean. Where the trunks meant to break the blue up, but then they put the lines in there to try and break the blue up. And it's like they sort of clash with each other.
You see where that line at the top goes into the trunks, but the trunks doesn't have the line on it? That's a problem. Yeah. That's an issue for me. I don't like that. So for me, I think the trunks fit weird because they don't look right with these legs. Like, honestly, if that line on the legs stopped and just kind of squared off, like right around, I don't know if you can see my cursor on the screen. Let me see. Can you see that?
Yeah, you're pointing at his doodle.
Okay, yeah, right there. I think if this line right here stopped and went over here and then did not go up into the actual trunks, I would probably like it better.
Oh,
But
do you
right
mean
now,
there's a line on the trunks?
both of them.
Yeah, okay. I thought
Both
you were
of
talking
those
about
lines don't make sense because they don't line up, and
yeah,
I don't
okay, I
like
know what you mean.
so.
But if he's standing up straight, then they're lined up. It's because he's walking.
Yeah, but that's a design problem, I think.
Yeah, but then it looks like that makes it. I like it because that means the trunks aren't connected. They're literally pulled over the top of those pants.
But
if they
they look like right now, though.
Yeah, no, but that's because they're pulled up over the top.
Right. I'm saying that the divine.
It's like how you, if you're walking with shorts
at all.
No, Eric, you fucked it. You fucked it. You fucked your criticism up, mate. You fucked it. This is what you want. You want there to be some imperfections with this suit in the fact that the line on the trunks doesn't match up with the pants because they'd move differently. It's like when you're walking down the street. If you have a thing line up on your undies to a certain part of your shorts, if you're moving the shorts, then it's going to be different to where that bit on your undies is because your shorts move differently. And obviously with this, his legs move, but the trunks aren't moving when he does his leg like that.
But it doesn't make sense from a design perspective.
But it makes sense in a logical, realistic, I'm moving my legs sort of way.
But you don't have to do that. It's Superman.
But that's what they've done.
Right. What I'm saying is I don't think it was necessary. For me, I would have liked it better if the lines weren't there at all. That does because it looks like a pair of pants. If you take this and you stop right here, it looks like a pair of jeans. That looks like a pair of Levi's. They don't look like Superman's legs. They look like a pair of jeans.
They look like a pair of skinny jeans from like Forever 21.
That's what I'm saying. And then you pull that red trunk over top of it, it looks like a pair of underwear over top of jeans. That's why you don't need all that over design. The lining and stuff is over designed. Take it off completely.
Well, you want to know trunks.
Do it like Superman and Lois.
We were just the belt.
Well, no. Superman and Lois, the lining is there. You see it on that first.
Oh, but it's not prominent. It's not like
right. It doesn't pop out like this. Yeah, that's my issue. I don't know. It could be a lot cleaner. Right now, that's not clean to me. But I'm going to give them credit. I like the colors. I think the blue and the red are the right shades of those colors. I like the lighter blue and the really, really crisp and popping red. I like that. I like the S on the back of the cape. I think that's great. You're right. The cape length is the perfect length. I think the boots are perfect. I think the change to the collar is great. I think that the bagginess in it is a problem for me, but I do believe they're going to fix that.
And they'll just tighten it up in post. Yeah. Like when he's standing still and he's talking, they can VFX in. Obviously, when he's flying around, it's going to be a VFX model anyway. So
yeah.
I think it's just so he can move around comfortably. He doesn't have to constantly have to take off the suit.
There also could be more than one suit, by the way. There could be there could be a close-up suit and a suit he wears for like
that's what they do on Superman and Lois. He has a close-up suit and then he has like a moving suit, which has like when he goes on the flying mechanism or something. Yeah, there's two different suits. I'm still not in love with the symbol on the suit.
I'm not either.
I don't think it really.
I prefer the one on the cape, even though it's the same design. I like that it pops.
But it's all yellow. But it's all yellow and stuff. I don't know. I knew when I saw that this was going to be the symbol for the thing. I was like, it's either going to. I don't know. I just didn't really buy that it was going to work on the suit, and I don't necessarily love it. I don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it, but I'm like,
I don't hate it either.
I'm like mid on it. I'm like, I can live with it, but I'm not.
I think the waist is too high, and that's why the belt looks weird. Because the belt isn't right where his waist is. You can see where his waist is. The belt's higher than his waist. It goes up higher than his waist. His waistline is here, right where that arrow is.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I think that's just so the trunks work. So I'm fine with that. It's just to make the trunks work.
I hate that. That's a problem for me. The belt looks really cheap compared to the rest of the suit. I think the belt is really cheap looking, but I don't know how much that's going to matter in the movie, to be honest. Let me tell you what my biggest problem with the suit, the one thing that like everything else I've complained about is just like me sort of nitpicking, right? The thing that is the biggest problem for me is the chest. It looks flat. There's no definition to it at all. It's like a biker jacket. Basically, if you put a zipper in the middle of that, it would look like Angry Joe's Superman jacket. It looks like a biker's jacket. Like the design, the way it comes in here, the lining on the sleeves, the shoulders. If you put a zipper down the middle of that, it would literally be something like a Hot Topic Superman jacket.
Which is weird because he worked out heaps.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what
Just
is
being this type of suit, which makes me like, it's like when who was the person? Oh, who was the person that got memed that did all that workout stuff and they got stuck in like a stupid suit that you didn't even see the muscles for?
Well, Cyborg was one of them. Like when Ray Fisher did it, he did all
Yeah,
that.
but I guess it was still something. Oh, actually, he's probably a good example. But it was someone else. It was in some.
There was the
other
one
movie.
from Suicide Squad that like got killed off in 5 seconds.
Yeah, that was true. Javelin.
Yeah, Javelin. Yeah, that was true. Yeah, I don't understand the design of the top. Cody here has a super chat. He goes, "Look at the way you lose the abs. Good thing, but gain the lines."
I'd probably
Yeah.
take the abs over the lines because the abs are like it's only like that midsection. Well, I think the lines are just I'd probably
Well,
take
look,
the abs.
I think what the lines are intended to do, and this is pretty much it with anything you get in terms of fashion, is they close in the space and define the shape, so you get a different silhouette. So when you have a line that goes in like that, and you'll see it a lot on women's clothing, you'll have like a light color in the center and a dark color in the sides because it like closes you in and makes you look, gives you more of like an hourglass shape. So what's happening with these lines is it's trying to make it look as if there's definition there if there wasn't. But we know that David Cornsweat got super thick for this. He worked out and got super thick, and the top is not showcasing that. It's almost like they said, fuck padding. We're not even going to give you any definition whatsoever. And I don't like that because I think like I'm going to get accused of like supporting the Snyder Bros shit. And that's not what I'm doing here. But with Henry Cavill's suit, whether you like the texture of it or you like the colors of it or you don't like it, I like that the suit was very form-fitting, especially in like the stomach and the chest area, because it did call back to like the Superman comic book suit. This one looks like a biker jacket to me. I'm not into that at all. So, but I see what you're saying, Cody. I don't disagree. I think there was a way you could have done the lines that make it work a little bit. I don't know. It's a little much. I still like it. It's not like I'm not saying, I hate it or whatever. I still like it. But let's talk about the stuff with James Gunn lying. I think that's what we need to get into. So we saw this picture, and we're gonna pull up like a cropped version of it. We saw this picture here, and people are going around and now calling James Gunn a liar because we have this character that looks like Black Noir from The Boys. In the full shot here, the engineer is also present. I think there's another, it was like Rick Flag Sr., I think, is in the full shot as well. Engineer's there to the right. Gotta see her there.
And he posted this leaked photo on his Instagram story.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I sent you the tweet.
Oh, yeah. It was him. Yeah, I remember that. What an idiot. What a fucking
He
idiot.
went like happy to be on Superman and stuff like that.
Yeah. So this character, I guess this is the person that everybody said was going to be Ultraman, but here in this actual shot, somebody or the person that posted this shared this, which is the Ulysses character, but with no mask.
Apparently it's been like everyone that was reporting Ultraman before is still saying like, hey, it's in the thing, it's Ultraman. So if unless they do,
you think they're combining it together, the story of Ulysses and Ultraman into like this movie? What do you think?
Maybe, but everyone that's like was saying Ultraman before is saying it's still meant. So unless they're doing like a late swap within the actual film itself, because that leaked, it's still meant to be Ultraman.
So the reason why this is getting so much traction with James Gunn lying is that he made a post on Threads, and Paige, you went looking for it. I don't know if you ever found it.
I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to pull that up, we'll look at that. If you want to share that. Where he talked about the villain of the film. And this was posted like back at the beginning of June.
No, April.
April. Okay. The primary protagonist of Superman is shockingly Superman.
Sorry, I'm in Australia, so it's day, month, year.
Okay. The main villain of Superman is shockingly Lex Luthor. I don't know where all this stuff is coming from, or that it's something other than this. There are so many stories coming out every day. It's difficult to deal with, and every time I strike something down, I'm giving it attention. So I'll say it again: don't believe anything unless you see it here. And why would you want to know everything before the movie comes out anyway? Now, the reason why
that face when Frank Grillo goes against that last statement.
The reason why this is such a problem is this was a response to the leaks about Ultraman. So he said this in response to that. And so that's why people are saying that he's lying about everything.
It's the thing, he's lying but not lying at the same time, because he chooses his words very in a clever way, because he says that the main villain of Superman is Lex Luthor, which obviously means Lex Luthor is behind Ultraman, so he is the main villain, while Ultraman, the engineer, all those people like that are sub-villains. And they're just people that play into,
Bob here says, rumor I heard was that it's Ultraman who deteriorates into Bizarro. So
it wouldn't surprise me if it's something like that, and that's why he's masked. Now, the thing I'm worried about is, and I'm pretty sure you'd be in the same line, because it's the lamest thing ever, if it's the case, if they remove the mask and it's just David Cornsworth. That's the thing I'm so
like a clone of Superman? Is that what you're saying?
I'm so worried. I'm so worried. That's so lame. Like, if that's the case.
Yeah. I really don't think he's going to give us a trailer too close to the movie releases, because Superman has destroyed a lot of movies that you faster they hit. So yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. So anyway, here's the picture of this character. Whether it's Ultraman, whether it's Ulysses, we don't know. But apparently, the drama around all of that culminates into James Gunn lying. And I'm going to go back to our Arrowverse days with this one. I think that when it comes to leaks, there's a way you can just shut something down and go, that's absolutely wrong. It's not true. If it's in fact something that's just not occurring in the movie or the TV show or whatever. But you have to understand that there's some things that if you say no 100% to it, you're giving away something. And if you say yes 100% to it, you're giving away something. So sometimes you can't give a clear answer as the person making the movie or the TV show.
It's a big thing, and maybe it just comes down because we're experienced in the quote unquote leak game and the set photos and stuff. But people are sharing some set photos where I'm like, man, why? Yeah. These ones when they came out, I'm like, why are people? And yes, I know it's Cleveland-based photographers looking for revenue and stuff like that, but it's the main there's big accounts that are sharing these. I'm like, it's probably not the best. This is I was really annoyed when I saw it because I'm like, oh fuck. I'm finally seeing the suit and stuff like that.
I titled my video a disaster because I'm like, how did they had to know this was going to happen.
Yeah, and the thing is that they're probably going to look at every other future things. If this is the attention it's going to get, because obviously a lot of them don't. They film in England where they have that downtown thing, or they just use an indoor set or something, and then green screen. And then people complain about the green screen. It's like, well, this is why. Yeah. I'd rather it be green screen or something than this crap where shit's getting leaked. And now there's another leak that's come out which has spoiled certain characters in this movie and stuff like that. Which I would. I'm
not going to show. I've seen some of those other ones. We're not going to show any. The only reason I'm showing these is because these were the first ones that came out, and I think everybody's already seen these. But I'm seeing a lot more now that it's spoiling a lot of characters.
I would be fine if it was this and it was Lex Luthor or something, because we know Lex Luthor's in the movie. We know Superman's in the movie. We know the engineer's in the movie.
We knew about Rick Flag Sr. too. We knew about that character.
And Green Lantern, if Green Lantern was here, because we know he's in the movie. But it's when there's people that there's no confirmation. Sure, it can be a rumor all at once, but it's not a confirmed thing.
Yeah.
And James Gunn himself probably sitting there going well, I know what he was expecting because he's chosen a public thing. Of course, it was just going to get filmed. I know he wouldn't be surprised.
So my question is, and if Canada Graphs is here, I'd love to hear him chime in on this. What could they have done to prevent this from happening or mitigated this while still filming in public? I don't know if there's anything they could have done.
All of it's from high-rise buildings, so I guess it's just people at work in their buildings or in their apartments and stuff. All of this is I think these ones specifically were taken from a building or a bridge. And
how far away would this be?
No, Canada Grass might be the one to.
So look, he says right here, outside of filming on a soundstage, nothing. Yeah, there's nothing they could do. So the choice is green screen for a lot of movies to prevent these kinds of spoilers, or this. Honestly, the reason why, and I said this in my video, the reason why it made me so angry is why did we not get a proper suit reveal outside of the one of him putting his boots on before these came out? They could have gotten on top of this, and it would have devalued the set photos.
Yeah,
we would have seen, people would have been sharing the promo photo of the Superman suit, of the Mr. Terrific suit. They would have been sharing that instead of sharing these.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I don't know.
And the thing is that like I don't know, like if they have like, because obviously this was I think this is like the one that's been advertised, like this is their big outdoor shooting thing, but it just makes you wonder, like, have they got something else planned where, I don't know, because the thing is, if you film in England where they're obviously planning to like move DC studios, like especially if you got like Leaves and stuff, like they have their whole downtown thing, which I've used for Snyder used for like BBS and Justice League and all that stuff. Well, not for BBS though, but for the Justice League, and then like the Flash used, and a lot of different movies use it for like a downtown city area and stuff. I'm sure this movie could have done that, but I know they wanted to film in Atlanta for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, Atlanta for the studio stuff, and then obviously went to Cleveland to film the city stuff.
The other thing is this generates bad press for the movie prior to it coming out, because these photos are never going to be as good as proper studio made photos, where they probably would have framed the suit in the right lighting. They would have done some of the tucking and nipping that they're going to do in CGI, you know, in scenes and stuff. And we would have gotten proper shots of like the way it's supposed to look, I guess, the way it's supposed to be presented to us. Because what we're seeing now with set photos is like when you see people walking around with like Thanos' head on a stick and stuff like that. It's just, this is not the way you want the movie to be presented to the public.
Especially if this is like because we can follow the plot, I guess. He gets arrested by the government or taken in by the government. So obviously, like, it seems like Man of Steel now that I'm thinking about it. But anyway.
I mean, the shot looks like Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Engineer looks like what is her name? Fiaro or whatever her name is. The
Zod in the back.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's very reminiscent of that. To be a slam dunk, and I still think James Gunn is going to do a really good job. But this is an uphill battle, and I don't think any other projects are in full-on production right now. It's just this movie.
Well, Anthony brings up the Daredevil Born Again set photos. Like, that just spoiled everything. Those set photos, like, they spoiled like an entire.
I didn't even make a video on them. I didn't make a video on them.
It had a bunch of reveals and stuff. Like, it's. I think it spoils a major death in the set photos.
Yeah, I'm not even going to talk about it here, but
I'm not going to. I won't specify things.
Yeah, avoid the Born Again set photos. Do not do it. Do not do it. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot riding on this. I feel like Warner Brothers is in a weird spot, and we'll talk more about that after this because we're going to move right into that topic. But this is bad for them because this movie needs to be, and I'm not kidding when I say this, this needs to be a home run.
Yeah.
It cannot be just an okay movie.
Do you know the thing I saw on the thing I gathered from Twitter and TikTok? Comic book fans love it. General audience thinks it's goofy.
Which one? What are you talking about?
This, the set photo that they saw. So that's the issue that I'm saying is
you want it to be the other way around. Typically, is you
sort of want it to be where the comic book fans usually just complain about everything, and then general audience is like, "Oh, this looks pretty cool. I'll go watch it."
We complain about everything, Paigey. Really?
So that's probably a concerning thing because we hold like the meme of like DC fans online, DC fans in the theater, and it's empty.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's one of those two things, Amethyst. I don't think it's super hit or super fail. I think it's just like, I think the movie does good regardless. I think it definitely, well, I don't know what the budget is. I'm sort of concerned about the budget, but I think it still does pretty well. I don't think it's going to compete with Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four is like still a couple of months away from filming, isn't it? There's no way Fantastic Four comes out at the same time as this movie.
think Fantastic Four moves. That's my opinion.
There's no way it comes out at the same time.
I think it's
Fantastic Four will probably move for like,
we'll see,
like a October, like where like Thor used to come out, like Thor Ragnarok, and or even like where Wakanda Forever came out and stuff. I know around that period.
Yeah.
But that has me concerned. Like a lot of the general audience thinks it looks goofy, because there's a lot of some movies, for example, which like fans thought looked really cool, then it came in, general audience thought it was goofy. Was Eternals? Common fans thought that looked good. Shazam was one. Even the Flash trailers were well received by comic
Well,
book
remember, David Zaslav said it's the best superhero movie of all time.
people.
Let me ask you a question before we move to the next topic. Do you still feel like the Flash movie gets unjustified hate?
Oh, 100%. The fact is, because whenever you talk to someone, their first thing is, oh, the CGI. Okay, argument. What's the point? If you start with CGI, you're pointless listening to.
Right.
Pointless listening to. I actually rewatched it like 2.5 weeks ago because it was on streaming service. It's on Netflix over here. I don't know if it's. I guess it's still on HBO Max over there, or is it on Netflix?
Yeah, it's still.
I don't know if it would have gone to the other ones,
Yeah.
but yeah, I thought it held up. I still enjoyed it. Nothing changed. What was the other one I watched?
Did you watch Madam Web?
No, I don't think that's on. I think it's on. Actually, I did see it on the HBO Max equivalent over here. It's they sometimes show like the coming soon sort of things, and it doesn't say a date sometimes, but it said Madam Web coming soon. So,
King of Lesbia says the Flash movie was mid at best, not at worst, but at best. Bob says that it was mid as well.
I'm fine with people calling it mid. I'm fine with that, but it's when people say it's like the worst movie of all time and stuff like that. I'm like, no. Well, Jordan, I saw it on. I watched it on Netflix, but I saw that it's on Binge as well, which obviously means it's on Foxtel.
So this is the funny thing. My theater just opened up ticket sales for this movie. The local theater to me. We went to buy tickets. Yeah, the strip club with a pole dancing in it.
Yeah, gets in the way.
Typically, they wait closer to the movie's release to open up ticket sales, but this one they did. Obviously almost a month out.
It's probably to garner like an expectation of people coming and stuff like that, so then they can create.
They pretty much sold out already on all of the showings for the first week.
But you know what? People are talking about this Superman movie and stuff. I think Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be a big indicator of Superman's box office thing, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
I have to ask you, because you are the shill, are you slightly worried that this movie won't be good?
Good or profitable? That's
so like quality. Like who cares about money? Like I think this movie is probably going to make money regardless.
Right. I think the movie's going to do well financially no matter what.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't break $1 billion, but it's definitely like 750, 800 million.
So you're putting me in a spot where I'm going to have to bring up something that I know triggers the chat every single time I bring it up.
The wokeness, or
no?
Oh, okay.
We know that Hugh Jackman is not my favorite actor. I'm not a big fan.
Okay.
So I've never really connected with him as Wolverine. However, before you guys come from my neck on that one, I like seeing him in the suit because I feel like we waited a really long time to finally get him in the costume. And I actually like the design of the costume. I think it's good. So I feel like that part of it is going to nail it for the fans. I think Deadpool is going to be fine. Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is going to be fine. I think this movie may get the same criticisms that Doctor Strange got, that maybe Quantumania got, maybe some of the criticism that the even though the Spider-Man movie made a ton of money, some of the criticism that got, and that's that it's just full of cameos and people randomly doing things. Yeah. I think that might be a criticism. I don't know if that's going to affect the quality or not. I have no clue.
But even then, I don't know. I think this movie's going to have a lot. My worry is just that, for me, I find Deadpool's humor it's fun on the first viewing, but I can't go back and rewatch the movies really because I just find it a bit more. It's very I'm not going to rewatch Deadpool.
So it's a one-time movie for you. Like you go and you see it, and you're done.
It can just be a bit full on, it's just because it's all referential and stuff like that. But that means I'll probably watch it the first time and really enjoy it. It's going to have, it's going to be very X-Men in regards to those 2000s X-Men, which are the ones like some of the first comic book movies I ever watched and stuff. So I grew up with them. I went to the theater and watched. I went to see the first X-Men in the theater. I was 6 or 7 or something like that, maybe 8. I don't. When did it come out? 2000, 99 or 2000?
2000. I think it was 2001.
So 7 or 8 or something like that. So, and then saw all the other ones and stuff like that. I don't know. I've just got this worry because every single time I see the trailer, I don't want to watch it when it's on TV and stuff like that. Does that make sense? Like I'm sort of getting sick of the trailers.
I get it.
And I feel like they started their promotional tour or their promotional campaign way too early. Like we're still a month out from the movie, and I don't want to see the same trailer. Like I'd rather not. I don't know. But the thing is that like on the 20th of 20 something of July, whatever it is, I think it's like exactly a month away or something. I'm going to be as keen as hell to go watch it. I'm going to go the opening day and sit there.
So Defunct agrees with you. I'm a bit like Paige with how I feel about Deadpool's humor.
Like with Deadpool's humor, I'm fine watching it the first time. It's like, but I won't laugh at everything. But it's like, I'm not dying to go watch it again for the humor there. So that's why I'm hoping that there is actually a bit more. And basically the trailers, I feel like there's going to be like some sort of like, deeper story to it. So I'm very interested to see what that is.
It's going to be the longest Deadpool movie. Yeah, I feel like that's because it's leading into the MCU era of Deadpool.
Yeah, and it probably has to do a lot of like catch up and like has to probably do like a decent amount of setup, I guess. To
Dalton says I'm definitely not the target audience for Deadpool comedy. King Lesbian goes, Deadpool is one of my favorite Marvel characters. Yeah, I mean that's kind of Deadpool is one of the most marketable characters because of the design. It makes it very easy to put him on everything, honestly. So yeah. So Jordan says, as a cinema worker, I'm not looking forward to when working with Deadpool and Wolverine comes out. It's going to be crazy. But I can tell you this, the theaters are salivating for this movie because I think it's going to bring in so much money for them.
Probably. You'd have to assume so.
All right.
Especially like that period of the year, there's like a bunch of movies coming out. So at least you'll probably get a decent like warm-up because I think it's like a bigger movie each week and then Deadpool sort of caps it off.
Surprisingly, Inside Out 2 has made a ton of money. Did you see that? Like, I'm
not surprised. It's like a Pixar kids movie that's a sequel. Like, I mean, that would have been a massive shock if that didn't do well. Like, that would have been an alarm bell. It's like everyone. I
actually think it did better than they expected, though. I think it did.
I think it did, but they might have shot it low because of previous things. But like, we're talking about like some of these other franchise movies that's come out and haven't done well. If this didn't do well, that would have been the full-on alarm bells. Like ding, ding, ding. What the fuck?
I actually think between that and Deadpool, we're going to see another boost like we did with Barbie and Oppenheimer, where some movies are just going to do a lot of money and then other ones are just not going to do anything at all. I think that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we move on to the next topic, and that's going to be the final like official topic. I did this tonight sort of as a test, because I talked about it on Saturday about a night to do an additional stream where we could talk about other topics besides like just the normal stuff.
I'm assuming you mean 1 billion, Anthony.
What do you say? 1 million by Sunday?
1 million. That'd be
1 million, right? Is this night in this time slot good for most of you guys? We had almost 100 people here like a few minutes ago. I'm assuming this time slot is good for most people to do an additional stream. Give me a thumbs up in the chat or whatever. Give me some feedback if this is going to be a good time period for us to do live streams. Yes, I know Canada Graphs. I can go back and look after it processes, but I'm trying to gauge it here. A little interaction here. You're ruining you're killing the vibe. Killing the vibe. So we're thinking this might be a good time to do an additional stream. So seems like most of you guys are agreeing. So yeah, I think so.
Thursday twerk-offs.
The twerk-off. The we could do. I'm gonna do Teach Me How to Dougie. I'm gonna take it back. Teach me how to Dougie. Teach me how to Dougie. All right. So
no, go ahead.
What?
You just said you're going to do the Dougie. Let's see it.
No, we'll do it next week. We'll do it.
Typical. This reminds me of the fucking.
Okay.
The gritty. Like the 1 month away for the gritty. To be fair, it was worth it at the end, but.
It was. That was a great one. That clip is still great. Okay. So.
Wait, which one? The one you're doing or the one watching the Fortnite gritty tutorial?
Both of them. I think they were both great. I'm easy. I'm not going to. I think they're both great. So I think this looks really bad for HBO Max. You know what I'm talking about, Paige, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking. I wasn't too sure what you're talking about, and then you said HBO Max. Do you mean Max, the home of HBO?
Yes, yeah, that one.
Okay.
So the Harry Potter show and Welcome to Derry, which is the
and Lanterns.
That's right, Lanterns
Three
as well,
shows.
are now moving away from exclusives for Max, the home of HBO, to HBO proper. This is a massive shift for them. I cannot even downplay how big a deal this is, because these were 3 things that would have helped sell the streaming service.
They were literally the 3 tent poles, essentially, the 3 big franchise things. Like specifically Harry Potter, and then of course Lanterns and stuff, and that essentially means you'd assume most that other DC shows are going to go to HBO as well, at least the ones that maybe need a bigger budget and that they think is worthy of being on HBO.
So this kind of gives me a hint of a couple of things. We've talked about it a little bit. It seems like Max may become less important to Warner Brothers, like the streaming platform. Batman Cape Crusader going to Prime, these moving over to HBO proper. It seems to me like they are cutting a lot of losses from that streaming service. Is that? I mean, what do you like? There's problems, obviously, right?
Yeah, I think there's clearly like financial issues behind it. Like, I don't think Max is going to be around in 5 years, especially if they. I mean, obviously, the next year when like they're delegating projects and saying where things are going to be airing and what they're going to be, like, are they HBO originals, Max originals, whatever? That's going to be a big indicator, especially if all the big stuff is going to HBO. But that doesn't mean like all the DC stuff. Like, I don't think like obviously Peacemaker is going to be on HBO Max or on Max. I would assume Waller's probably going to be on Max just because it's connected to Peacemaker. But then again, maybe it goes to HBO. But I think that probably would have been a part of this announcement if that was going to be the case. But yeah, as Gwendolyn says, like HBO is iconic, like that start with the static TV and everything like that. If you have that at the beginning of your show, you know you're like a prestige show.
Right.
But when like Max Originals, like, okay, whatever, there's some like stupid cooking shows that are Max
first of all, the change to Max was the dumbest thing they did. Like changing it from HBO.
Well, the fact it's called the fact that the slogan is the home of HBO. But like you take away that full-on branding of HBO, which is the main thing. Like if you think Max, think like Max what?
Cinemax. I thought of Cinemax.
Yeah.
Like it didn't make me think of HBO, but we're talking about 3 shows. Let's be very clear here. Harry Potter, Welcome to Derry, and Green Lanterns would have been massive for Max in terms of like IPs. So moving that to HBO means they're probably going to be given a lot more care from like the quality perspective, and they will be there first, and then they will move to Max streaming later. Like
it'd be like with with like what they do with House of Dragon and stuff like that. Like, do they air at the same time? It was like it airs on HBO, and then as it ends, it goes to Max.
You have to wait to see.
You have to wait. Like, so it's like when it ends on HBO, then it goes to Max.
I think it's like after 12 Pacific time.
Okay.
So
I'll be back in 2 seconds. I just have to go outside and get something.
Okay. Let's see. King of Lesbia. Warner Brothers just keeps earning L's. True. Max Late Night became Skinamax. Yeah. So JK, they will, but the budgets are different. That's the thing. So the budget will go through HBO, which means we're talking about more consistent money. They'll have more money to inject into the series because it's on the Prestige channel. So they'll be getting more money in that regard. So that will increase and help with the quality of the shows. So that means like Green Lantern and Harry Potter will probably see a lot more special effects than we would from the streaming services. So that's good. And I think overall as consumers, like if we love these properties, this is going to be better for us from a quality standpoint. Now, as far as accessibility goes, we'll have to see how that plays out. But from a quality standpoint, it's going to be so much better for us. So much better. Let's see here. Darth Zen says, everyone heard about how MTV and Comedy Central nuke their own sites' content. So many are ticked off and how much content has been lost. All the studios seem to suck now. A lot of people, without getting myself in trouble here, are going out on the ships and be pirates of the seas to get content back. If you know what I'm saying. If you know what I'm talking about. Let's see. Stop sharing. There we go. I'm going to stop the banner here. Anyway, I think that's kind of where we're going to wrap it up. We're still having the after party on Saturday, so we'll be talking about more stuff there. But I really did want to test out Thursday nights to see how this felt for everybody, and I think it's been pretty much a success in terms of like gauging that metric. So I do appreciate you guys being here for sure. Tomorrow, my review for The Boys will drop. So I hope you guys are caught up on that for episode 5 of season 4. Very different from last week's episode. Very different. I had different feelings about it. But still, you know, you'll see what my score is. It'll be out tomorrow. I am moving my release dates from The Boys, or my release times of The Boys, from 3 p.m. Eastern to 1 p.m. Eastern. So it'll come out 2 hours earlier. So if you're waiting for that to come out at 3, it'll be at 1. So just know it's a little bit earlier than it was before. And I'm doing that because I might start doing like 2 videos a day on the days when I'm doing my reviews, so I can get it out more content for you guys. What does everybody think of the release schedule so far on my channel? Give me a little feedback. Do you like the return of content, like regular content? I was talking to Paigey about this before we went live, but the consistent, like on time scheduled content. Do you guys prefer that over the random videos with the rant reviews? I think you guys are enjoying it. I'm seeing a lot of great feedback on that, so I'm having a lot of fun. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. Canograph says, true story, I haven't watched any of your reviews of The Boys yet. Usually fatigued by the time I get through all the reactions to watch breakdowns of episodes. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, Quindolin. So it's funny. Let me tell you a story about the Star Wars thing. So I'm in another podcast on Wednesdays, the Showcast. Shout out to the Showcast. And I'm on the stream with 2 massive Star Wars fans. 2 massive Star Wars fans, both Dane and Turf. And I'm over here singing the praises of the Acolyte. Matter of fact, this past week's episode, if you didn't see my review, I'm just going to say it here, one of the best episodes of Star Wars television I think we've ever had. I really enjoyed it. And I asked them what they think of the Acolyte, and I don't think they've watched any. I don't think they've watched any of the season. And I'm baffled. I'm absolutely baffled because I think it's really good. And all the people that I engage with think it's really good. It's one of the few shows that I stay up to watch when it drops in the mornings. It's one of the few ones that I do that for. I don't do that for The Boys. I don't do it for any of the other shows, but I do it for Acolyte. I'm really enjoying it. There was one bad episode this season, but all the other ones I've really liked. But I was shocked to find out that other people who love Star Wars haven't caught up with it yet. So I'm not sure if it's just burnout or people farting. I'm not sure which one it is. Anyway, I think it's kind of funny. You're watching the Acolyte, right?
Yeah, I watched it 2 days ago when it came out. The episode 2 days ago. Yeah.
What did you think of the episode?
Oh, it was the best episode of the season so far.
The combat
it wasn't perfect, but like the first half of it is like a 10 out of 10. Like that whole thing, I thought was really well done. Yeah, just some knocking if you need weird noise, so ignore that. We'll try to ignore it to the best of your ability. Unless it was the farting that Sean's referring to, then I'm not too sure. Might have been.
You know what it reminded me of? And people are going to probably get mad about this because they're going to be like, you're comparing it to the CW, but it reminded me of the early seasons of Arrow. Like the fighting, the choreography, it was really good, like in the seasons 2 and 3.
Yeah, I can say that. Yeah. Like, I still think it, unfortunately, it had the reveal, which we all knew was coming. And I was like, I mean, and I guess they tried to like pin it like a surprise reveal.
Arrowverse fans, shout out, because every single person that's been watching me since I've been reviewing the Arrowverse agreed that that's who that was going to be. We played this game already. We know how this works. I saw it coming a mile away.
It was too obvious. Like, but the only thing I can think of is that because that was so obvious that there's a larger reveal.
Oh yeah, I feel like there.
I think he's not the real thing. I think he's
You think he's a pawn? He's like a pawn,
or he's a Sith apprentice. So there's actually a larger Sith, and he's. But also, I think there's a twist with him in Soul.
Yeah.
People saying they're brothers. I don't know. I think there's too much of an age difference there for them to be brothers. But I did notice that he had burn marks all over his arms. So I'm like, was he at that fight, the fire thing?
Yeah, I don't know. What I'm loving about
they kept showing his arms, they kept showing him. Like, I thought they were tattoos early on. And then I think they're burn marks.
What I love about it is it's so reminiscent of like the early days of the CW, where we get those tiny mysteries, but then there's a bigger mystery throughout the season. And I've been waiting for a show to give me that for a while.
Well, you know what? This show has a showrunner.
What?
It has a showrunner.
Yeah. There's a showrunner. Yeah. So it feels like we're getting that. I still miss the 20-some episodes, but we're never getting those back. That's never coming back. At least not anytime soon.
No. But it's got 3 episodes left.
Yes.
So
no, 4. I think there's 4 episodes left.
Oh, okay. Well, we're at halfway through. Regardless, I guess still around halfway through. That's my hope. I'm hoping this is like the kick up the bum episode, even though it was a really good episode. But it's like that episode that kickstarts it all, and because I think you can't debate it. It had a pretty mid to not very great opening half.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind episode 4, but I just thought it was a bit slow, and then the ending was a bit annoying. But then the ending was paid off because this episode, at least the first half of it, was like 10 out of 10. Oh, 3 more. So I thought there was 8. So it's 3 more episodes.
Yeah, it's 3 more. So I remember somebody told me in my review list in the comments, like 9 episodes. I was like, is there? That seems like an odd.
I thought it was 8, but as I said, I'm not going to debate it. I knew it was less than 10. Yeah. But I'm just hoping that this is like, now we get 3 more episodes, and also everyone, without spoiling it, but most of the cast got.
The funny thing is, I think a lot of people are complaining, don't realize just how poorly paced a lot of the Star Wars shows were before this one. And even though I like Andor was like a long mini series it was like a movie basically. Whereas you look at the other shows, and this has been the weakest thing about the Disney TV shows that I think is, they've suffered, and they know that, is they didn't have proper showrunners. So this show has a showrunner. We know Daredevil's gonna have a showrunner. So these shows are gonna feel like actual TV shows, which is something that we should be happy about. This idea of these uneven, oddly paced episodes of TV that they were getting, it wasn't good for television as a whole. It's much better this way. It just is. So I like the pacing of it. I'm not trying to convince anybody that's great, but it's hard for me to not take someone seriously, or it's hard for me to take someone seriously when they say that episode 5 wasn't a great episode of Star Wars. It was. It just was. I mean, it has everything you could ask for in it.
What is the consensus? Because I don't look at it online and stuff like that, so I don't know.
There's a large group of people that are really enjoying the show and realize that it is sort of it's an accompaniment to other stories. But then there's a big chunk of people who are complaining about it for no reason whatsoever. So, oh, I don't like that she cut her hair with a lightsaber, or I don't like that there was fire in space, or I don't like that this character might have been lied to in the prequels, and that's why they're saying what they're saying there and not in here. They're doing the same things a lot of times that I used to do when I was, and we talked about this a little bit as well on Saturday. They're not viewing TV shows as TV shows. They're viewing TV shows as movies, and each episode is a sequel to a movie, basically. They want answers, everything in one episode, and then in the episode, and then we jump into the next episode and we introduce questions and answer those questions in that episode. That's how they're viewing the show, because they expect everything to be answered before we get to the end of the season, when we just hit the halfway point, really. And you don't review shows that way. That's not how TV works. Unless something comes out as a binge where you can watch all the episodes at once, you cannot judge all of the unanswered questions in a show before the end of the season. I took so many L's from doing that when I used to review shows.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. I was the one handing said L's out.
But I wasn't taking more than Pagey. He had a lot more L's than I did back in the day.
No, you
But,
were. I remember how angry I used to get at you when you used to like go on like a 20-minute rant, and it's like, dude, they're gonna explain it next episode, and then next episode would come around. It's like, oh, you're right. Yeah, we wasted.
Yeah, see, look, old Eric would have definitely hated that she got a perfectly identical haircut to her sister with one lightsaber swoop. I would have, except in the bigger part of the story, is it about the lightsaber haircut, or is it about her being like masquerading as her sister?
Parent trapping.
What was that?
Parent trapping.
Yeah. Which one is the more important thing that we should be worried about? Like, what we want to have her sit there and go, here we go, cut here, cut here. Oh, is it perfect? Cut here. Like, really, what fucking sense would that have made? None whatsoever. They needed her to look like her sister as quickly as possible, and they made it work in the episode.
Was that like a legitimate like argument on?
Yes.
I'm assuming Twitter, but probably YouTube as well.
Yes, there were people on YouTube saying that. How did she cut her hair so perfectly to look like her sister in that moment? It doesn't have to be exactly the same.
Yeah, I don't think like Soul is like got a ruler and it's like, hold on.
That one lock in the back is about a half-inch shorter than it was when we were out there on the fighting in the field. You know,
if anything, they should have been complaining about like burnt hair smell, like if anything. But obviously, I highly doubt that's.
But I mean, like overall though, that's like if you're focused on that, then you're not focused on the actual quality of the writing in the show, because that is what I like to call a segue moment. It was there to end one dilemma and start the next thing up. That's what that was. It wasn't.
I must say though,
a moment on its own.
That episode I thought it felt like it went longer in a good way. It felt longer than 27 minutes because there was so much happening, especially in that first half. I still think like some of the writing and dialogue is a bit lame. It's not that great, but I mean, I didn't like. I'm not even that like I've watched like half of the Rise of Skywalker, whatever that last crap movie was, but I think I've watched all the Star Wars stuff. I haven't watched Andor because I've been waiting for like a time because I've heard it's good, but I've heard like you have to be committed.
Already
to watch
been
it.
greenlit. They're doing a season 2.
Yeah, so I've heard you have to be like committed to it, but
it is because it's rough. You got to like honestly, that is better on a binge. It was rough week watching it. So
well, I got a deal for Disney Plus. I got 2 months for $4 each, so $8 for 2 months of Disney Plus, which I thought was a good deal. So I got that. So I've been catching up. Started watching X-Files. I'm like, why am I on X-Files? But I got Andor there, so I can watch Andor. Right. But like, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I can't imagine someone sits there and puts that episode under an 8 or an 8.5.
You'd be shocked.
Like, I don't think that there's enough. Like the other episodes, like episode 3 was arse, and like 1 and 2 were just mid. Like 1 and 2.
I'm gonna be honest. We've watched a lot of shit episodes of TV in our time reviewing Arrowverse. I would say episode 3 is like worse than some of the worst Arrowverse episodes. It was not.
Well, that technically could have been a sequel to Girls Night Out.
It could have been, maybe.
Girls Night Out got a bit way too crazy. They started doing like weird chants and stuff.
They became their own little covenant. Yeah, that's what happened. So look, I'm not downplaying it. I think Andor is fantastic. It's one of my favorite.
I've heard it's like if you commit to it, like it gets better and better and better throughout the season. That's what
you have to understand, though. It's like a mystery series. It's not like an action.
Yeah, I've heard that. Like
series, so.
Honestly, if it didn't have the Star Wars thing and you showed it to someone people might not even think it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. But I'll probably start it soon. I will show it. Yeah.
The episodes being shorter has been a legitimate complaint. I can understand why people want longer.
But I think it's because this is probably only meant to be like, I think if it was put together a bit better, it might only be like a 5 or 6 episode thing, like miniseries, but they've tried to stretch it out.
Yeah.
To 8 episodes. Because you can honestly argue that like 5 and 4 could have been combined into one mega episode, and I think it probably would have worked better. And you maybe cut out
a 1 hour episode,
and you cut out like them trying to stretch out episode 4 with just a lot of filler. Because episode 4, if you really just put the important stuff in there, it's like 10 minutes long. So maybe you just combine that with episode 5, but they wanted the cliffhanger thing, which I can understand for TV's for the sake of TV and the model and everything like that. But I don't know how you could hate that episode. It's I don't agree. I saw that you gave it a 10 out of 10. I can't agree with that because I just think the back half. But like it's just because the back half just doesn't like it just goes back to some of those weaknesses, but it's still pretty good. Like I think the back half of episode 5 is still better than all the other episodes.
Well, to be fair, like at the end of the episode, I actually thought it was going to end before it ended. It went on a little bit longer than I expected.
But I think that was just a setup next week.
Yeah.
I think they just wanted to plant some seeds, and obviously it's because they go onto a ship, and then like you can skip time a bit. And you know, it's been a day or two.
I had so much fun watching it, and this is how my scoring's always worked, and this is why people get annoyed with me sometimes. I am willing to forgive some stuff if I just really had a good time watching something, and that will make
I can understand.
But I'm not. It's not a perfect episode of television. When I say 10 out of 10, and I say perfect, I mean perfect for me. It was what I consider to be perfect. I'm not talking about objectively perfect, like everything in it was done perfectly. Like, that's not the case. There's a lot of movies that I've been like, that's my favorite movie, and I know it's not a perfect movie. I mean, we know how I feel about Man of Steel, and you'll always argue about that movie, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. You know, I've heard people kind of laugh about it. Oh yeah, this is the shot.
That was my face when Acolyte wasn't shit. I was like, hold on a minute. Pump the brakes, Daddy-O. What's going on here?
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, I'm enjoying it. I think it's a really good series, and I'm not really sure why there's so many complaints about it. It's definitely not the best thing Star Wars has ever done, clearly, but I think it's got
what it is? It's definitely the most interesting show.
Yes, and that's what I said.
Yeah.
The premise, and I saw someone say this in the chat, and I didn't start. I should have started so I could bring it up later. But someone said that the idea behind the show, like the premise of the show, is probably the most interesting of all the Star Wars shows. But it's not always the best written of all the Star Wars shows.
I think it's got easily the best concept and premise and idea. The execution just hasn't been there. But I wonder, just because they in their heads are like it's going to be a short mini series. Arguably, this could have been a movie. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if the idea was originally a movie. It's like, I don't know if we can sell people.
Did you see the person that turned the Obi-Wan series into a movie?
I've heard that someone's done like an edit, but I haven't seen.
They made it like a 2-hour and like 10-minute movie or
something.
Well,
that was the other thing we'll talk about. Like, Obi-Wan was clearly meant to be a movie, and I think they even came out and said it was originally pitched as a movie, and then they changed it into a show.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me if this was the exact same thing.
I'll be honest, though, as much as I enjoyed Obi-Wan, I thought it was okay.
It had the same issues as Acolyte. It was just a bit stretched out, and like some of it just feels like a bit unnecessary.
Wow.
But I mean, I'm excited to see what the last 3 episodes are of the Acolyte, especially if they, not saying that every episode has to be better than the one that we just got, but if they're like around that same ballpark, or like
my least favorite Star Wars
show, probably Book of Boba Fett, because that was ours.
That show to me, even though it had some shining moments, I think it was, I'm going to say clearly, and I know people are going to be like, oh, you're wrong, and I get it. But clearly, in my opinion, I think to me, that show was the worst. It did not pay off enough stuff. It spent too much time on things that I don't think people cared about. And 2 of the best episodes didn't even have Boba Fett in them, really. So, yeah, that's how I feel about it. Plus the scooters, the gang on the hover scooters was just
god, that was awful. I forgot about that.
That was bad. So
BBL Drizzle.
So anyway, that's pretty much it. We're out of here. Thanks everybody for being here. We'll see you on Saturday for the after party, and I'm probably going to try and make a more consistently scheduled stream on Thursdays, so we'll see more from then. Anyway, have a great night, everyone, and thanks for being here. See you next time. Bye.